The key doesn't turn. My father's funeral was yesterday. Now my stepmother has changed the locks. Black garbage bags sit on the porch, filled with my belongings. The door opens, chain still on. Brenda looks at me without emotion. "This house is mine now," she says. Behind her, my stepbrother Cody appears, wearing my father's robe. "Thanks for the room," he smirks. She slams the door. I stand in the rain, holding a broken wooden box my father and I made. Then I remember his last words to me. "I've left you a trap, Mallory. Let her spring it herself." I get in my car. If she wants this house, she'll have to break the rules to keep it. And I'll be watching. Before we continue, please subscribe and tell me in the comments. Would you fight back or walk away? I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you would handle a situation like this. I spend the next 3 nights in a motel on the outskirts of town. The room smells of stale cigarettes and cheap air freshener. My phone buzzes incessantly, not with support, but with accusations. A notification from Facebook pops up. It's a long, rambling post from Brenda, tagging every relative we have. It breaks my heart that some people care more about inheritance than family, she writes. Mallory made a scene at the house today. We are just trying to heal. Below it, comments from my aunts and cousins flood in. Stay strong, Brenda. So disappointed in Mallory. Money changes people. I turn off the phone and stare at the ceiling, watching the water stain that looks like a map of nowhere. She's gaslighting the entire family. Rewriting history before the ink on the death certificate is even dry. I remember the first time I met Brenda. I was 19, home from college for the summer. Dad had been a widower for 9 years. He introduced her at a backyard barbecue, nervous as a teenager. "Mallory, this is Brenda. She's important to me." Brenda smiled, extending her hand. "I know I can never replace your mother," she said, her voice soft. "But I'd like to be your friend." I shook her hand, grateful that Dad wasn't alone anymore. That night, I stayed late to help clean up. I reached for my mother's china serving platter, the one with the blue flowers. Brenda's hand shot out, gripping my wrist. "That's expensive," she said, the warmth gone from her voice. "I'll wash it myself." She took the plate from my hands and turned away. I should have seen it then. The way she touched things in the house, cataloging their value with her eyes. But I was young, and I wanted to believe. The next morning, I'm on site at the St. Luke's Library Restoration Project. I'm a restoration specialist, trained to save buildings that others say are too far gone. I'm standing on scaffolding 30 feet in the air, examining a support beam. The wood looks solid, original oak from 1873. "It looks fine on the outside," Liam says, appearing beside me. Liam is the structural engineer, a man who speaks only when necessary. He points a flashlight at a small hairline crack. "But look closer." I lean in, seeing what he sees. The crack isn't superficial. "Termites," he says. "They've eaten it from the inside out." The surface is intact, but the core is hollow. I stare at the wood, thinking of Brenda's Facebook post. Perfect on the surface, rotten underneath. "If we don't strip it out," Liam continues, "the whole roof comes down eventually." "Strip it out," I whisper. "Right." "You okay?" Liam asks, his eyes meeting mine. It's the first personal question he's ever asked me. "Just family stuff," I say, looking away. "The house." He nods, doesn't push. "Foundations matter," he says, after a moment. "You can patch the walls all you want, but if the foundation is compromised, nothing else holds." I leave the site early and drive to the office of Mr. Henderson. He's my father's attorney, an old man surrounded by stacks of paper and leather-bound books. He looks at me over his spectacles as I explain the lockout, the bags, Cody moving in. "I want them out, Mr. Henderson. She stole my home." He raises a hand to stop me. "Mallory, your father was aware of Brenda's nature," he says carefully. He opens a leather binder, the kind lawyers use for important documents. "He left her a life estate, yes. She has the right to live there until she dies." My heart sinks. the floor dropping out from under me. But, he continues, tapping a specific paragraph with his pen, he added a safeguard. The occupancy clause. I lean in, reading the dense legal text. The words swim at first, then snap into focus. To preserve the historic integrity of the asset, residency is restricted strictly to the surviving spouse. I look up at Henderson. What does that mean? It means no subletting, he explains. No long-term guests. No family members moving in. If she violates this, the life estate is voided immediately. The title transfers to you. Cody is living there right now, I say, feeling adrenaline surge through my body. He's in my room. He's wearing my dad's robe. Henderson shakes his head slowly. We need proof, Mallory. Irrefutable proof. If we strike now, she'll claim he's just visiting for the funeral week. She'll say he's a guest, there to help her grieve. We need to prove tenancy. How, I ask? Establish a pattern, Henderson says, leaning back in his chair. Mail delivered to him at that address. Witnesses who can testify he lives there. Public admission, ideally in writing or on record. Let them get comfortable. Let them think they've won. His eyes are steady on mine. Can you do that? Can you watch them live in your father's house and not react? I think of the wooden box in my pocket, still broken. I think of my father's shaky handwriting in his final months. Yes, I say, I can do that. I drive back to the motel, my mind racing with what needs to happen. I have to let them destroy my home just for a little while so I can save it. A week passes. My savings are draining into the motel bill. $60 a night I can't afford. I check out on day 4. I start sleeping in my car, parked a few blocks from the library site. I use the public showers at the YMCA in the mornings. I spend my nights parked down the street from my father's house, watching. It's a precise kind of torture. I watch pizza delivery drivers hand stacks of boxes to Cody. I watch Cody's girlfriend, a girl I've never met, carry suitcases in through the front door. She has a key. She kisses him on the porch like she lives there. I document everything. I keep a notebook, writing down times and observations. 8:14 p.m. Cody uses a key to enter through front door. 9:30 a.m. Mailman delivers letters addressed to Cody Evans. 3:45 p.m. Girlfriend arrives with 2 suitcases and a lamp. My phone pings. It's a text from Brenda. Mallory, we need to settle the estate expenses. Cody's car note is due. Since you're the one with the big job, it's only fair you help your brother. He's struggling right now. Be the bigger person. I stare at the message, my hands gripping the steering wheel. The audacity takes my breath away. She steals my house, then asks me to pay for the car parked in my driveway. I type a response, slow and careful. I need her to admit it, to say the words. I'm not paying for his car, Brenda. If he's struggling, maybe he should move out and find a cheaper place. Her reply comes instantly, fueled by anger. He is not moving out. This is his home now, too. He lives here, and he helps me. You're being selfish and cruel. I take a screenshot. Save it to a folder labeled Evidence. This is his home now. Thank you, Brenda. That's exactly what I needed. That night, the temperature drops to near freezing. I'm shivering in the back seat of my sedan, wrapped in 2 thin blankets. My breath fogs the windows from the inside. A tap on the glass makes me jump, my heart hammering. It's Liam. He's holding a thermos and looking at my fogged-up windows with concern. He doesn't ask why I'm sleeping in my car. He doesn't look at me with pity or judgment. He just holds out a set of keys. Side office, he says, his breath misting in the cold air. It has a heater and a cot. No one goes in there at night. Liam, I can't, I start to protest. You are the lead specialist, interrupts gently. We need you sharp. Take the keys. I take them, my fingers brushing his, and something cracks open in my chest. The house has good bones, Mallory, he says quietly. Whatever you're going through, You can fix it. Foundations can be repaired. I sleep in the site office that night, surrounded by blueprints of a building being saved. I dream of my father. He's teaching me how to sand a piece of wood, showing me how to move with the grain. Never against it, Mallory, he says in the dream. You work with what's already there. You don't force it. I remember when my father first got sick. It started small, a cough that wouldn't go away. Then the diagnosis, stage 3 lung cancer. He'd never smoked a day in his life. The doctor said sometimes it just happens. Brenda took over his care immediately. She quit her part-time job at the department store. She set up a hospital bed in the living room. For the first few months, I was allowed to visit twice a week. Brenda would greet me at the door, her face drawn with exhaustion. He's sleeping, she'd say. Don't wake him. Or, he's having a bad day. Maybe come back tomorrow. I brought groceries, helped with bills, hired a cleaning service. But I was always kept at arm's length. One night, 6 months before he died, my father called me. It was 2 in the morning. His voice was weak, but urgent. Mallory, can you come over? Brenda's asleep. I need to talk to you. I drove over in my pajamas. He was sitting up in the hospital bed, looking small and frail. I need you to know something, he said. He took my hand, his grip surprisingly strong. Brenda she means well, but she loves things more than she loves people. I've seen how she looks at the house, at my tools, at everything. I'm leaving you a way out, sweetheart. When I'm gone, she's going to try to take it all. But I've left you a trap for her. A legal trap. You just have to be patient. You have to let her spring it herself. I didn't understand then. I thought he was being paranoid, that the medication was making him anxious. Dad, it's okay, I said, squeezing his hand. Everything's going to be okay. He smiled, sad and knowing. You always want to fix things, he said, even when they're not broken yet. 2 weeks later, Brenda banned me from visiting altogether. The doctor says he needs complete rest, she told me over the phone. Family only. I am family, I said. Immediate family, she corrected. I never saw him conscious again. 2 days later, I get the evidence I've been waiting for. My neighborhood watch app alerts me to a disturbance on my father's street. Noise complaint, 2 a.m., police dispatched. I drive over, parking just within sight of the house. Blue and red lights flash against the Victorian siding, painting it in alternating colors. Cody is on the porch, shirtless, yelling at an officer. Brenda is behind him, wrapped in an ashall, looking frantic. I don't intervene. I don't approach. I just sit in my car and watch as the officer takes notes. The next morning, I go to the police station. I wait in line at the records desk. I need the incident report from last night, I say. 247 Oakwood Street. The clerk types into her computer. That'll be $10. I pay with the last cash in my wallet. She prints the report and hands it to me. I read it, standing right there in the lobby. Officer responded to noise complaint at 0200 hours. Resident Cody Evans stated he was holding a housewarming gathering. Homeowner Brenda Evans confirmed the subject resides at the property full-time. Resides. Full-time. It's in black and white, filed with the city, part of the public record. I fold the paper carefully and put it in my folder. Then I drive straight to Henderson's office. Is this enough, I ask, placing the police report on his mahogany desk. Henderson picks it up, reading slowly. His expression doesn't change, but I see his eyes sharpen. Police report, he says. Written admission via text message. Photographic evidence of mail delivery. He closes the folder. It's time to execute the clause. How long will it take, I ask. I'll file the notice of violation tomorrow, he says. We'll schedule a meeting with Brenda and Cody to review the trust. They'll have one chance to understand what they've done. And then, I ask? And then the sheriff enforces the eviction. 72 hours to vacate. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I feel tired. My father knew this would happen, Issei quietly. He knew she'd break the rules. Henderson nods. Your father was a very wise man, Mallory. He understood human nature. Greed is predictable. The meeting is set for Friday morning, 10 days after my father's funeral. Brenda and Cody arrive at the law firm looking bored and slightly annoyed. Cody is wearing sunglasses indoors, his hair still wet from the shower. Brenda is holding a designer handbag. I recognize it immediately. My father bought it for my mother 23 years ago. She kept it in tissue paper, only used it twice. Brenda is using it like a grocery bag. Let's make this quick, Brenda says, sitting down without looking at me. I assume this is about releasing the rest of the cash accounts. How much are we talking? Henderson folds his hands on the desk. Actually, Mrs. Evans, this is a compliance review. Brenda rolls her eyes. Compliance with what? I'm the widow. I live there. You do, Henderson agrees calmly. And so does Mr. Evans. He gestures to Cody. Yeah, so, Cody says, chewing gum. I'm taking care of her. Family values, right? Henderson slides a document across the table. Let's review the trust again, he says. Specifically, Clause 14, the occupancy clause. Brenda frowns, picking up the paper. She skims it, her lips moving slightly as she reads. I told you, I know my rights. I have a life estate. You did, Henderson says, his voice still calm. Past tense. The room goes silent. The hum of the air conditioner seems deafening. The clause states that the property is for the sole use of the surviving spouse, Henderson continues. Any cohabitation by family members or third parties longer than 3 consecutive nights voids the estate. Violation results in immediate termination of the life estate. Ownership transfers fully to Miss Evans. Brenda's face goes pale. She looks from the document to Henderson, then to me. That's ridiculous, she says, but her voice has lost its confidence. He's a guest. He visits. We have your text messages, I say, speaking for the first time. I slide the printed screenshots across the table. You stated, quote, this is his home now too. He lives here. I slide the police report next to the texts. We have the police report from November 15th where you identified him as a resident. We have photos of his mail being delivered. We have witness statements from neighbors about his girlfriend moving in. We have his social media posts about, quote, my new place. I slide each piece of evidence across the table, one by one. Cody's face has gone from smug to confused to panicked. Mom, he says, looking at Brenda. Brenda ignores him. She's staring at me with an expression I've never seen before. Pure, unadulterated hatred. You can't do this, she whispers. I took care of him. I changed his diapers when you were too busy with your career. I held his hand when he died. You weren't even there. The words hit like a slap. You're right, I say, my voice steady despite the pain. I wasn't there. Because you told the hospital I wasn't immediate family. You had me removed from his visitor list. I got a call from a nurse, not from you, telling me he'd passed. Brenda's mouth opens, then closes. You isolated him, I continue. You kept me away so you could control everything. But you got greedy, Brenda. You couldn't just take the house. You had to move your son in. You had to break the one rule Dad cared about. He wanted that house preserved, not turned into a crash pad. It's my house, Cody yells, standing up abruptly. I painted the damn walls. You damaged a historic interior without authorization, I correct him. That will be deducted from any residual estate assets. Henderson clears his throat. The title has already transferred, effective upon breach of contract. Mrs. Evans, Mr. Evans, you have 72 hours to vacate the premises. The sheriff's office has been notified. If you are not out by noon on Monday, you will be forcibly removed for trespassing. Brenda stands up slowly. The mask she's worn for years falls away completely. You ungrateful little witch, she spits. After everything I did, I hope that house rots around you. I hope you die alone in it. It won't rot, I say, standing to face her. I fix things for a living, Brenda. Remember? She grabs her purse, my mother's purse, and storms out. Cody follows, muttering curses under his breath. The door slams behind them. Henderson and I sit in silence for a moment. Your father would be proud, he says, finally. I'm not sure, I reply. He would, Henderson insists. He didn't want revenge, Mallory. He wanted protection. For you and for the house. You just enforced his wishes. Monday morning comes cold and bright. I park my car at the curb, hands gripping the steering wheel. A sheriff's deputy stands by his cruiser, arms crossed, waiting. Brenda and Cody are dragging suitcases down the driveway. They don't look at me. They shove their things into Cody's beat-up sedan and Brenda's SUV. Cody is yelling at his girlfriend, who's crying. Brenda is stone-faced, moving mechanically. I wait until they drive away, until the taillights disappear around the corner. The deputy nods at me. All yours, ma'am, he says. I'll stick around for another 15 minutes just in case they come back. Thank you, I say. I walk up the steps slowly. The front door is unlocked, hanging slightly open. I push it wide, and the smell hits me immediately. Stale beer, cigarette smoke, and cheap air freshener trying to cover something worse. The hallway is a mess. Scuff marks on the original hardwood floor, the kind that will take days to sand out. A hole punched in the drywall near the stairs, about fist-sized. I force myself to keep walking. The living room is worse. The furniture has been moved, scratching the floor. There are burns on the coffee table, cigarette marks. Someone spray-painted something on the wall, then tried to paint over it. The paint doesn't match. I go upstairs to what used to be my room. It's been completely transformed. The walls are painted black. LED strips line the ceiling, unplugged now and hanging loose. My old desk is gone, replaced with a gaming setup. Energy drink cans are everywhere. The window, an original from 1896, has been left open. Rain has warped the sill. I close it gently, running my hand over the damaged wood. This can be fixed. All of it can be fixed. I go back downstairs to my father's study. It's the only room that looks relatively untouched. Maybe Cody didn't care about books and tools. On the desk, sitting under a glass paperweight, is a sealed envelope. It has my name on it in my father's handwriting. My hands shake as I pick it up. I sit in his chair and carefully tear it open. My dearest Mallory, it begins. If you are reading this, it means Brenda broke the rules. I suspected she would. I'm sorry I couldn't protect you from this directly, but I knew if I left the house to you outright, she would contest it. She would drag you through courts, drain the estate with legal fees. This way, she had a chance to do the right thing. She had a chance to honor my wishes. If she chose not to, well, that choice was hers. She loves things, honey. She doesn't love the history of things, the meaning of them. I couldn't leave this house, your mother's house, to someone who would treat it like currency. So I left a trap that catches greed. I knew you were the only one who would watch closely enough to catch her, the only one who cared enough about preserving what matters. The house is yours now, properly and completely. Save it, Mallory. Save it the way you've saved so many others. And know that I'm proud of you. Not for winning, but for having the patience and wisdom to let justice unfold. I love you, always. Dad, the tears come then, not angry orbiter, but cleansing. He knew. He saw Brenda for what she was, and he protected me the only way he could. I fold the letter carefully and put it in my pocket, next to the pieces of the broken wooden box. Footsteps on the porch make me turn. Liam is standing in the doorway. He's holding a large toolbox and a bucket of cleaning supplies. He looks around at the damage, the mess, the desecration. He doesn't flinch. Structurally, he says, walking over and tapping a door frame, it's still standing. The foundation is good. The bones are solid. It's going to take a lot of work, I say, wiping my eyes. I'm not afraid of work, Liam says, setting down the toolbox. He looks at me, a small, genuine smile touching his lips. Where do you want to start? I take a deep breath. I can smell the old spice beneath the stale smoke now. It's faint, but it's there. Let's start with the locks, I say. New ones. And then we scrub the floors. Strip everything down to the original wood. We spend the rest of the day working in comfortable silence, scrubbing away the traces of the invasion, reclaiming the space 1 square foot at a time. Liam doesn't ask questions. He just works beside me, steady and reliable. When we take a break, sitting on the porch steps with sandwiches from the deli, he finally speaks. This place means something to you, he says. My mom and I built that, I say, pointing to the wooden porch swing. She died when I was 10. Cancer. Dad never took it down. Even when it needed repairs, he'd fix it himself. He said it was the last thing she touched. Liam nods, understanding without needing more words. My dad was a carpenter, he says after a moment. He taught me that buildings are like people. They get wounded, they get sick, but if the foundation is good, they can heal. They just need someone who cares enough to do the work. I look at him, really look at him, and see something I hadn't noticed before. Kindness. Not pity, not sympathy, but genuine kindness. Thank you, I say. For the keys, for today, for not asking too many questions. You don't owe me explanations, Liam says, standing up. You just owe the house your best work. He holds out his hand to help me up. I take it. Over the next 3 weeks, we work on the house every evening after the library site closes. Liam brings tools, I bring knowledge of historic restoration. We strip the black paint from my old room's walls, revealing the original plaster underneath. We sand the hardwood floors, removing years of damage. We repair the windowsill, matching the wood grain perfectly. Slowly, the house begins to remember itself. One evening, I'm in the attic looking for my father's old tool chest. I find it beneath a stack of boxes Brenda left behind. Inside, beneath the hammers and screwdrivers, is something wrapped in cloth. I unwrap it carefully. It's a photograph I've never seen before. My mother, heavily pregnant with me, standing in front of this house. My father has his arms around her, his face pressed against her hair. They look impossibly young and impossibly happy. On the back, in my mother's handwriting, "Our forever home. May our daughter love it as much as we do." I bring the photo downstairs and show Liam. This is why, I say simply. He takes the photo, studies it, then hands it back. Then we better make sure it lasts another 100 years, he says. Brenda and Cody tried to sue, of course. They claimed undue influence, that my father wasn't of sound mind when he created the trust. But Henderson had medical records, psychiatric evaluations, everything needed to prove competency. The judge threw out their case in less than 20 minutes. Last I heard, they're living in an 2-bedroom apartment across town. Brenda works at a call center. Cody is still between jobs. They blame me for everything. I don't think about them much anymore. I found the wooden box pieces in my pocket 3 months later. I'd forgotten they were there. I brought them to my workshop at the library site. Liam found me there one afternoon, carefully gluing the pieces back together. It was crushed, he observed. It was, I agreed, but not destroyed. I used a technique called kintsugi, a Japanese method of repairing broken things with gold. You don't hide the cracks. You highlight them, make them part of the object's history. When I finished, the box was whole again. The golden seams ran through it like lightning, marking where it had broken and healed. It's more beautiful now, Liam said, because you can see it survived. I put my father's letter inside the box and placed it on the mantel in his study. A reminder that broken things, with patience and care, can become stronger. The house is quiet now, but it's a good quiet. It's the silence of a storm that has finally passed. I wake up every morning in my old room, sunlight streaming through the restored window. I make coffee in my mother's kitchen. I sit on the porch swing my parents built and watch the neighborhood wake up. Liam comes over most weekends now. We're restoring the garden together, pulling weeds, replanting my mother's roses. He doesn't talk much, but he's there, steady as the foundation he once told me about. One Saturday afternoon, we're working in the garden when a car pulls up. A young couple gets out, looking at the house with wonder. "Excuse me," the woman says, approaching the fence. "Is this house on the market? It would be perfect for us." "No," I say, standing up and brushing dirt from my knees. "It's not for sale. It's a forever home." She looks disappointed, but nods. As they drive away, Liam looks at me. "Forever home," he repeats. That's what my mother called it, Issei, showing him the photo I now keep in my pocket. She was right. He smiles, that rare, genuine smile. "Yeah," he says, "she was." So here is my question to you all. If you were in my shoes, would you have waited to catch them in the act? Or would you have tried to stop them the moment they moved in, knowing it might fail? Would you have shown Brenda mercy when she broke down, or would you have held firm? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story of justice and restoration satisfied you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's patience, proof, and letting people trap themselves with their own greed. See you in the next one.